Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Monday, February 7th. We have all you need to know about a high school sexual assault case in the area, as well as details on Penn State's involvement in the 2022 Olympics.
We also have more on the COVID numbers in Center County, along with entertainment, sports, and weather.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Carlos Garcia.
And I'm Hannah Markovich.
We start our broadcast this evening with some tragic news. Penn State's Donald P. Belisario College of Communications is mourning the loss of Curtis Chandler. The associate teaching professor, who taught multiple courses related to journalism, passed away at age 64 after a battle with terminal pancreatic cancer. Dean Marie Harden wrote in an email to students saying, quote, "He was the kind of teacher who made a difference in the lives of students he taught, making himself available around the clock. He encouraged you to stretch your imagination and do work you never dreamed you could do," end quote. Penn State plans to hold a memorial service for Chandler at the end of the month. In lieu of flowers, memorial contributions can be made to the College of Communications Chandler Grant for Storytelling or the Family House in Pittsburgh.
Police are investigating an assault at State College Area High School. One student assaulted another student inside of the building before school started, according to a letter sent to parents from Principal Laura Tobias. The assault occurred Tuesday morning, and school administrators believe it is connected to a photo with racist language and hate symbols. Superintendent Bob O'Donnell and Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Education Curtis Johnson released more information, saying they are dealing with two separate offenses that are connected. The school's handbook requires a 5-day out-of-school suspension for any type of harassment, including display of racial slurs or ethnic intimidation. The high school administration and police will conduct separate investigations.
4 Penn Staters will represent 2 countries as the 2022 Winter Olympics are in full swing this week. 1 current student, 1 alumna, and 2 coaches will travel to Beijing to compete on the international stage. World Campus student Caitlin Hawayek will compete for Team USA in ice dance for her first time after serving as an alternate in the 2018 Olympics. 2021 graduate Jessica Adolfsson will represent Team Sweden in women's hockey. The former Nittany line defender was the school's second ever to earn first-team All-CHA honors in one of her 3 seasons. Joining the 2 athletes are women's hockey assistant coach Allison Kumi and men's hockey director of operation Alex Dawes.
Penn State experienced a significant drop in weekly COVID cases a week after reaching a pandemic peak. According to the university's COVID dashboard, infections still remain high. From January 24th to the 30th, university data shows Penn State experienced 333 weekly coronavirus cases. This is the 4th highest weekly total over the last 12 months. Kelly Wolgass, director of Penn State's COVID-19 Operations Control Center, says with increasing availability of at-home testing, true positive tests may not be recorded. The university is continuing to urge students to wear a mask indoors and to submit positive test results to MyUHS so numbers can be tracked efficiently. After a 3-day weekend thanks to unfortunate winter weather, can Penn State students expect any more snow days this coming week? Madeline Zarkowski will have this week's weather report after the break.
After a long week of ice and snow, we seem to be drying up a little bit this upcoming week, so that's something to look forward to, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But first, taking a look at tonight, we're going to fall back to just 21 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and calm winds. Now, if we jump ahead and take a look for tomorrow morning, for your out-the-door forecast for tomorrow, just 24 degrees, chilly and windy. We're going to have wind gusts up to 15 miles per hour, so you're definitely going to want to bundle up on your way out the door tomorrow. By noon, warming up slightly, 27 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. And on your way back home tomorrow, 5 p.m., 26 degrees, and those clouds will continue through the evening. Now jumping ahead at this weekend, those cloudy skies will continue through the week into this weekend, and we do have a chance of rain and snow showers Friday in the later hours, but we shouldn't have much accumulation of snow on Friday. And this weekend is Super Bowl Sunday, so that's something to get excited about. State College, if you're watching the Super Bowl from here, it's going to be pretty chilly on Sunday, so again, you're going to want to dress warm. And if you're headed to California, to the SoFi Stadium, you can't get much better than this. 75 degrees and sunny, so perfect weather for that football game this weekend. Now taking a look at our 7-day forecast. Like I said today, partly cloudy skies, and in the morning tomorrow, we'll have some clouds, but that should clear up tomorrow evening. Those clouds will continue through the week, and we do have that slight chance for showers and flurries on Thursday and Friday, and those temperatures will drop back down again this weekend for Sunday and the Super Bowl. That's all from me. Coming up next, Brendan Conroy has the latest stories on Penn State sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Brendan Conroy with your sports update. Legends never die, but they do retire. One of the best players to ever do it is stepping away from the game after 22 long years. NFL legend and star quarterback Tom Brady announced this past week that he will be hanging up the cleats and using his time now to, quote, focus his time and energy on other things that require his attention, end quote. Brady leaves the game with a resume like no other. He is the only player to appear in 10 Super Bowls and also holds the record for most Super Bowl wins with 7. The record is more than any other team in the NFL. He proved everyone who doubted him wrong and became one of the best pass touchdown players of all time. Along with many other records throughout both the regular season and playoffs, the long-lasting impact of Tom Brady and his talent will be instilled in this generation and those to come in the future. The future Hall of Famer finally gets to rest, but his legacy will run on forever. Penn State's men's lacrosse starts their season off in the winners column following their season opener victory over the Lafayette Leopards this past Saturday. The game started off close as they went into halftime down by 1, but the Nittany Lions were able to secure a 9-3 run in the second half, pushing them to get the win. Jack Kelly, Jack Traynor, and Kyle Aldridge led the way with 5 goals each, making up a large majority of the Lions' scoring. After finishing last season with a record under 500 and a subpar conference record, the team looks to give it their all this season in hopes to make a deep run in the spring. Freshman goalie Jack Frakion got his first minutes of playing time after a large portion of the second half was spent with him in goal as he saved 4 out of the 7 shots he faced. Penn State will stay at home for their next matchup where they will take on the Villanova Wildcats in Panzer Stadium this Saturday at 3 p.m. Penn State women's volleyball added another asset this past week to their roster in a transfer from Los Angeles, California. Head coach Katie Schumacher-Cawley announced Thursday that Cashiona Williams will be joining the Nittany Lions squad after earning 2 All-Big West honors at her previous school, Long Beach State. Williams racked up a total of 1,101 kills throughout her 3 seasons at Long Beach State and was able to secure herself a spot on the Big West All-Freshman team in 2018. She also received first-team All-Big West recognition following both her sophomore and junior seasons at the beach. Williams became the first Long Beach State women's volleyball player to receive an AVCA Pacific South All-Region Honorable Mention since 2016. The outside hitter is eager to gear up and make an impact for these Nittany Lions. That's all for sports. After the break, Gabrielle Tyner will bring you the latest from the world of entertainment.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Gabrielle Tyner with your entertainment update. Billie Eilish will be making a stop in State College this Thursday on her Happier Than Ever World Tour. The doors of the Bryce Jordan Center will open at 6 p.m. and the performance will commence at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are still on sale, ranging from prices of $40 to $150.50, with discounted tickets for Penn State students who present their student IDs. Eilish will be coming straight from Washington, D.C. to State College and continuing throughout the Northeast. However, she had to postpone 2 concerts in Montreal and Toronto due to local guidelines and a show in Phoenix due to the Grammys' rescheduled date of April 3rd. Penn State student organizations and units across the area will be holding a variety of events in honor of Black History Month. This week's events include the Identity Talks series celebrating Black History panel Tuesday, February 8th from 6 to 7 p.m. online. The Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity celebration of Black Queer History will be Wednesday, February 9th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Hub. The My Name is Polly Murray film and a post-film discussion will be Wednesday, February 9th at 7 p.m. online. More events include American Experience, the American Diplomat film screening on Thursday, February 10th at 7 p.m., and the Sustainability Showcase speaker Amy Band's Lunchbox Moments on Friday, February 11th at noon online. Bill T. Jones / Arnie Zane Company will present What Problem on Friday, February 11th at 7:30 p.m. in the Eisenhower Auditorium. For the full calendar of events for Black History Month, visit psu.com/campus-life. Kimye supporters are feeling conflicted today following Kanye West and Kim Kardashian getting into a social media battle this past Friday. On Friday morning, Kanye posted a screenshot of his 8-year-old daughter North's TikTok video on Instagram with the caption questioning the parenting of his children. He said, quote, "Since this is my first divorce, I need to know what I should do about my daughter being put on TikTok against my will," end quote. Kim fired back, saying, quote, "Kanye's constant attacks on me in interviews and on social media is actually more hurtful than any TikTok North might create. As a parent who is the main provider and caregiver for our children, I am doing my best to protect our daughter while also allowing her to express her creativity in the medium that she wishes with adult supervision because it brings her so much happiness," end quote. If the two can't settle their disagreement over the custody of their 4 children, North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm, it may end up being decided in a judge in divorce court. This follows Kardashian's decision to file for divorce from West back in February of 2022. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, Rachel Suga will be speaking with local business owner Alex Blumstrom about her products. Stay tuned.
Good evening, I'm Rachel Suga and I have the pleasure of speaking to Alex Blumstrom of Alex Blum Creates. Alex has created an entire clothing line and accessories during her time at Penn State and sells to customers all across the country. She has recently had a partnership with local businesses like Champs downtown. Thank you for being here, Alex.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am too. So, could you tell me a little bit about how you started this business while you were in college?
Yeah, so I started this business in the spring of 2020, right around the very beginning of quarantine. Like many others, I was looking for something to pour that extra time into. And I had gotten my mother a Cricut machine for Christmas, and I started playing around with it, just making t-shirts with positive quotes on it, trying to spread like some positivity amidst like all of the darkness that was happening in that time when quarantine first began. So that's sort of how it started, just pouring my time into something for trying to find a new hobby.
That's really cool. I love that you didn't just, sit around and do Netflix things. I'm talking about me. But so why was this something that you wanted to pursue while you're still in college as well?
I've always been someone who has loved having a little side hustle. The summer beforehand, I had actually emptied my savings account on a whim and purchased a camera because I've always loved photography and videography. And I said to myself that by the end of the summer I would make the money back for the camera, just working with local businesses, doing promotional videos with them, as well as photography and such. But then when COVID happened, you couldn't do photography and no local businesses were looking to pay for someone to run any promotional content for them. So I love creating, and I was working with a new medium, being t-shirts and sweatshirts, and I just fell in love with the process of creating those as well as creating the content to advertise with that, because that sort of tied in the photography aspect that I'd always been really passionate about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I was really interested in all of these really just adorable designs, which
Thank
you're
you.
actually wearing one right now.
Yes, this just came
Love
out
it.
today.
It's so cute. I love it so much.
Thank
But
you.
I was telling you earlier, I have a lot of friends from all over the place, especially at home in Philadelphia for me, and they've even heard about your t-shirt designs. What made you gravitate towards the designs that you've created?
So something that I struggled with when I first started the business was I was creating a lot of custom orders. And when I really decided that I loved what I was doing and wanted to start to scale it or see how I could scale it, I knew that I couldn't do that if I was doing like very specific custom orders for people. So I started creating location items that were a little more vague, like Philadelphia, for example. That was actually the first one I created, was a Philadelphia embroidered shirt. And I started doing that, and I called them Happy Tees, and the idea behind them was just to take that happy place with you wherever you go through high quality, like embroidered tees and items. And I just have a tagline and a little doodle that's specific to that place, like what makes it special for a lot of people. So it's been really cool because it was a way for me to create something custom that's felt unique, but still being generic enough that like you and I could both purchase it. It's not just for like one person. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so how did you decide to market towards certain areas, I guess you would say? Because you do have Philadelphia, but I've also noticed that you have national parks and randomly, like, I believe it's Big Sky, Montana.
Yeah.
Which I was very excited about because I've been there. I was like, wow, that's neat. So where did that all come from?
So when I first started that line, I was doing places that were close to where I was from. So I did Philadelphia, and then I just did some destination places that I figured were a safe bet. You don't have to be from Hawaii to have a Hawaii shirt, that kind of thing. And I got extremely lucky as I was putting time into creating content for it. I had a couple TikToks blow up, which was really exciting, but I expanded the collection based on the comments that I was getting from TikTok, because I was telling people like, hey, comment which location you'd love to see next. If the comment's already there, like the comment. So that way I could try to gauge which ones were more in demand, because being from Pennsylvania and getting comments like, where's Kansas? I just didn't know if there was going to be any demand for that. So sort of a lot of trial and error and sort of gauging what my audience was, their preferences and how they were changing. Yeah.
That's awesome. I would think that Kansas is just banging down the door. I don't know what happened with that. So I love this entrepreneurial spirit. However, you also have a philanthropic side to you. We've talked about Thon.
Yes.
So can you talk to me a little bit about just kind of what you do with Thon and all that jazz?
So yes, so I'm so grateful. This is my third year serving as a public relations captain for Thon. Specifically, I am a production captain, and I get to work with a team of people to create all of the promotional videos that you see internally and as well as externally for Thon throughout the year. And we also work on the recap video, Thon Weekend. So I'm just super excited to be back in the BJC. My first year as a captain was actually in 2020, so I was able to work on that recap video and last year's, but having my senior year, having an in-person Thon, I have been counting down the days since the last Thon ended. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. I agree. It's such a blessing that we can all actually be together and not from home as we used to be, but all of it is a blessing. But yeah, so it has been a pleasure. So thank you for taking time out of your day to talk to me. So that is all we have for today, but after the break, the latest news from across the country is coming up. Stay tuned.
ISIS leader Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurayshi was killed Wednesday during a U.S. counterterrorism raid in northwest Syria, President Joe Biden announced Thursday morning. Qurayshi blew himself up as U.S. forces approached his compound. The explosion resulted in multiple civilian casualties, though there was a discrepancy between the Biden administration and a Syrian civil defense group over how many. There were no U.S. casualties, according to the Pentagon, and it was the biggest U.S. raid in the country since the 2019 operation that killed ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Satellite images are capturing Russia's continuing military buildup near Ukraine, even as President Vladimir Putin of Russia claims the United States is trying to goad Russia into war. There is no sign of slowdown in Moscow's military preparation. One image shows a new housing area next to an existing deployment of military vehicles in Russia, occupied Crimea. The personnel camp was established within the past 10 days, according to New York Times analysis. The setup of tents and shelters for troops may signal an increased overall readiness level. Russia has amassed about 130,000 troops on the Ukrainian border by Western estimates. The images also show training exercises such as artillery fire and live fire at multiple stations. Administration officials said U.S. President Joe Biden has approved the deployment of about 3,000 additional American troops to Eastern Europe.
The FBI is urging Olympic athletes to leave their personal cell phones at home. They are instead advocating to take burner phones to the Beijing Winter Olympics this month, citing the potential for, quote, malicious cyber activities, end quote. While not aware of any specific cyber threat against the Olympics, the FBI added that it's important that those at the Games be, quote, vigilant and maintain best practices in their network and digital environments, end quote. The warning comes amid rising concerns by U.S. national security officials about Chinese espionage and intellectual property theft. Intelligence officials have publicly warned that China has created an advanced techno-surveillance state within its borders, blanketed by cameras, facial recognition, and other technology.
CNN Worldwide President Jeff Zucker has resigned from his position effective immediately over a consensual relationship with his colleague. The news executive's announcement came less than 2 months after he fired primetime anchor Chris Cuomo for improperly advising his brother, the former New York governor, about how to address sexual misconduct allegations. Zucker did not personally name his colleague, but the other party has been identified as Allison Gollust, his key lieutenant for the past 2 decades. Gollust is currently Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer at CNN and remains an employee. According to others involved in the matter, Zucker was facing termination if he did not resign.
And that's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.